Hey, Montel Williams here. Look, I've got some incredible news to share with you. I want to tell you about my brand new book that's coming out that's called The Sailing of the Intrepid. Now, this book is more than just an historical account. It's a tribute to the brave men who served aboard the USS Intrepid and a celebration of their extraordinary legacy. Writing this book was such an incredible story, and I'm really thrilled to be able to share it with you. So don't wait to grab your little piece of history. The book is available right now to order. You can go to montelmedia.com, and you can even get a limited autograph signed copy. Now, thank you so much for your support. I can't wait for you to read this incredible story of the sailing of the Intrepid. I'll see you on the pages. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Be Blunt with Montel, the podcast where we have real, unfiltered conversations about cannabis, its culture, and everything in between. I'm your host, Montel Williams, and today we've got an incredible guest joining us. He's a multifaceted entertainer, entrepreneur, and advocate who's making waves in the music industry, mental health space, and beyond. You might know him from MTV's Run's House, or We TV's Growing Up Hip Hop. But trust me, there's so much more to this man than what you've seen on TV. Please welcome Mr. JoJo Simmons to the show. JoJo, thanks for being a part of the show today.
Thank you for having me, Montel. Excited to be here, man. This is a real great experience.
Oh my goodness, my friend. It's such an honor to have you on. You know, you've got such a rich story and I can't wait to dive into it. Let's start with the obvious. First off, your last name. Growing up as a son of Reverend Run from Run DMC, you've had a front row seat to the hip hop history and hip hop world. What was it like for you as a kid?
Oh, it was fun. I think obviously a lot of people ask this question, and to me, it was more normal to the person on the outside looking in, right? It's like, of course, you're like, oh, that looks really great. But like, it was more normalized to me from a child because my dad is one of the biggest icons hip hop has ever seen, right? So it was fun. I would say that the greatest part was the experiences and the resources and connections I've been able to make as I grow that now help me today in my businesses.
That's great, without a doubt. Now, you've really carved out a path of your own from Run's House to Growing Up Hip Hop. You've been in the public eye for a long time. How did those experiences shape who you are today?
Oh man, it's helped me. I will say this: from being on TV, the biggest thing it's done for me is toughen my skin. I think a lot of people don't understand the entertainment business, especially growing up as a child star, that a lot of things come at you quick and you got to understand how to deal with those. So I think being on TV young helped me toughen my skin, but it also helped me understand that there's other businesses that I could pursue, like media, like my company with 3 is 4 that I'm doing media now. It's like, I think being behind the camera and in front of the camera has given me so much experience to bring to what I do now.
Absolutely. And I know you're also an ambassador for organizations like Cannabis Voter Project and the Last Prisoner Project. How did you get involved with the cannabis advocacy?
Oh man, when I first wanted to get into cannabis, I had my 2 high school buddies approach me about starting this company named 3 is 4, where we wanted to. New York went legal. We're all from New York, and we were like, hey, we want to sell weed, right? Like everybody did. And then when we got into the space, we realized that we wanted to storytell before we sold weed. We wanted to make content around the space. We wanted to educate or re-educate people on the plant and the importance of the plant. So as I got into the community, showed people that I wasn't here just to sell you some weed and make some money, but I was here to learn about the plant and educate others as I learned. And then I cared about what was happening in the community is what really led me to being an ambassador with like Last Prisoner Project and doing work with Cannabis Voter Project. It was like a easy answer for me to do that because it's just what I would have done anyway.
Gotcha. And what misconceptions about cannabis would you like people, or you wish more people understood, especially when it comes to its role in wellness and social justice?
That it's a drug. I think people think it's a drug, and it can't be a drug if it's a plant that you grow, right? That's the first misconception that people have, that it's a drug. Drugs do way different things to people than what cannabis does. So it just can't be in the same place to me. So I just want that misconception. And then the misconception that people that do use the plant are bad people, or quote unquote lazy people, or quote unquote people that don't get things done. I know plenty of people that get things done. I know plenty great fathers, husbands, entrepreneurs, and people that use the plant, but they use it intentionally. So that's the misconception. I just want people to understand that it can be normalizes everyday use as long as you're using it intentionally.
Let's talk a little bit about Who's House Entertainment. You're the
Okay.
CEO and co-founder of this music production company. What inspired you to start it, and what's been the mission behind it?
Oh, I mean, I think obviously the biggest inspiration is me growing up in music, watching my dad become the biggest star, and watching my uncle become one of the biggest moguls. You know, that's always been something I've wanted to follow in the footsteps of. When it comes to the family business, was like making sure that I stayed in that business because I do love music. You know, once being an artist and now being somebody that helps develop, grow artists and shop artists. It's always been a love and a passion of mine. Music. I love music. I grew up in music, right? And you know, really the intention behind it was to find long lasting artists. I love these guys that have these one hits and all like that, but I want to make these. I want to introduce artists to the world that are stadium filling artists that are changing the narrative in every way possible.
Gotcha. Now, your passion for helping others extends to your work with Who's House Ballers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, a few years back, one of my good friends that used to play basketball, came to me and like he was like, "Hey, man, I love your, the music company, Who's House Entertainment, but like, I want to be down with this, but I don't make music and I'm not into the music, but I love basketball. How do you feel about us starting a charity for the kids in Queens, the underserved kids in Queens, where it's like a free travel team where they don't have to pay for it, their parents don't have to pay for it, it's all paid for. Jerseys are free, sneakers are free, everything is free." And yeah, we started this thing, and my guy, Coach Shake, he runs it now, and he does really well. And I'm kind of just like on this overseeing board, the general manager, you would say, and just kind of making sure that things are moving, and wherever they need help, I help. But it's kind of self-running for me because I have somebody at the helm of it that is a player in a sense and understands the game and understands how to work with kids well.
That's really great. I mean, you're really carrying on a legacy from your family of giving back. And speaking of
Yeah.
giving back, I know that you're working on a veteran initiative, right?
I
Um,
was a few years ago. Yes, I helped raise some money out in Georgia to build a home for veterans that that need it, because a lot of people don't understand that a lot of these veterans, there's a lot, like every day a veteran is committing suicide, and a lot of these veterans come home and they have no idea where to go and what to do and how to implement themselves back into everyday life. And I went out there with a few good people and we made it happen. Vet 22. There's some real good people. They came to me with the idea, and obviously, like you said, I love the philanthropy that my family has always done, and that's the footsteps I'll always follow in. So when that came to me, it was a no-brainer for me to lend my voice, lend my platform, and lend my ear for whatever they needed.
That's crazy. I mean, Greg, that's a great thing that you're doing. I work on a show right now.
Thank
It's
you.
called Military Makeover, where
Mm-hmm.
we actually make over the homes of deserving veteran families across
Love
the
it.
country. And we've been
Yeah,
doing this now.
they
We've
need
done
it.
43 homes to date, so it's been pretty good, very
I love it.
rewarding.
They
Yeah,
need it.
it's clear that you're not just about business; you're about purpose. Let's talk a little bit about Three is Four, your media
Yeah.
production company. Tell me what that's all about, and what's the vision behind it.
I love it. It all, it's funny. It all started in cannabis, like I said earlier in the interview. Me and my two co-founder partners that I met in high school approached me about starting a cannabis brand, and we went around the cannabis space, went to a bunch of events, and realized that the main thing missing wasn't another strand, but it was storytelling. It was content. It was re-education on what the plant is and who's behind the plant and all the legacy operators and all the people that really have sacrificed so much for it now to be legal and people that are still serving jail time. So, we really came in the game wanting to tell that story and work with a lot of cannabis brands that didn't have that help and needed that storytelling and content. And then we've kind of expanded now into more things. We have other clients outside of cannabis, but ultimately it started in cannabis, and it comes from my passion and my love of being creative, and obviously being on TV my whole life. I wanted to finally step behind the camera for a moment instead of being in front of it, and really give my expertise in that realm.
Wow. Well, talk about your podcast. You got a podcast out, right? It's a
Yes,
For Good podcast. What made you want to
yes.
start a podcast focused on mental health and personal growth?
Well, I think there's a lot of different answers to what made me want to start that podcast. Obviously, 3 is 4 being a media and production company, we thought that having a podcast in this space would be very important for us. With me having a pretty big following, we thought that it would be great for me to do it. And obviously, it's not like I'm forced to do it, right? I wanted to do it, but I wanted to make sure that the podcast was intentional. I wanted to make sure that it focused on the positive and not the negative. So whatever guests I bring up, we're only talking about positive things. We're not talking about the gossip. We're not talking about all the other stuff that everybody's talking about, but we're spotlighting the good. We're highlighting what's going on in their life, their personal growth, their mental health, because those are all things that relate to me, and those are all things that relate to what I've gone through in life. So, I just wanted it to be a relatable podcast that people can come and listen to inspirable stories by everybody I bring on and myself.
Do you think it's helping to break the stigma around mental health issues, especially in the Black community and Black and Brown communities?
For sure, I've had a lot of, great guests, shout out to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She was my first episode and she sat up there and we spoke a lot about mental health and it did extremely well numbers because it just shows you that now is the time that Black people are interested in mental health. They're just not too educated on it. So I think as more as people like myself and everybody else comes out and speaks on it, there'll be more people willing to be vulnerable and willing to get a therapist and speak about their problems and understand that all their issues come from past trauma in childhood and things like that.
As a CEO of multiple ventures, what's the biggest lesson you've learned about leadership and building a successful business?
Wow, the biggest thing I learned about leadership and building a successful business is you've always got to think ahead and you've always got to make sure that you have a team that knows the vision, right? I think that that's the biggest thing for 3 is 4 is that we have a team that everybody's in lockstep and everybody knows what the goal is and nobody's stepping on each other. Nobody's trying to do, everybody knows what their role is and how we get to the win, right? So that's what I think the biggest thing is keeping the team communicated, right? Making sure the team is working, making sure that everybody understands that we're all here for one goal, one vision, one plan. And I think when you have that and you're able to, lead, properly, when you have people that believe in what you have going on and believe in what you're trying to do.
Now, are you involved in any plant touching or do you have a dispensary? Are you any of those things yet? Or are you?
So I don't want to speak too much on it, Montel. We do have some things coming up in the pipeline. The For Good podcast is an opening to a whole different For Good universe where there'll be a lot of merch and plant touching stuff and a lot of things. So don't want to speak too ahead of time, but yes, plants and all that other good stuff in the space will be coming from myself and 3 is 4 in the near future.
Oh, great. Are you going to do it in the Georgia area? Where are you going to be?
New York.
New York.
We're going to be right in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, right in New York.
All right, cool. As the CEO of again, many ventures, man, how do you, space your time? I mean, do you do you jump from one?
It's hard because I'm a dad and I'm also a husband, so I have a family, and it's hard. It does get hard at times, but I think it comes back to what I said. It's my team. I think that trusting the team to do what they do best, and when they need me to lean in, I lean in, and obviously I still have other things I do like the podcast, and I'm going out there and pitching the business and trying to get more clients. So yeah, it can get hard, but it only gets as hard as I think things are only hard when you don't enjoy doing them. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy waking up every day and figuring it out. I enjoy waking up every day and problem solving. I enjoy waking up every day and looking for new clients and trying to think outside the box and keep our creativity at an all-time high. I love it.
How do you stay inspired and stay so fresh, keep your ideas fresh?
I don't know, man. I just think that, I got this question asked the other day, and I think it's just, I grew up in a very interesting time, being born in 1989, but really growing up in the 90s, but understanding the world before the internet and the world now with the internet. I just think that, like, my mind has seen so many things that it keeps me creative, it keeps me inspired. And, I think watching other entrepreneurs and people that motivate and have inspirable stories are, those are the ways I stay creative. Those are the ways that keeps me on my toes. Those are the things that makes me say, okay, I got to keep going hard. It's the other people, and it's not a competition, but it's more like a, man, I love seeing this. Let me get down with that.
Well, speaking of love seeing, it kind of give me the idea that you've got some plans in the cannabis space, but you also know that the Fed's got some plans in the cannabis space. This current administration seems to have some weird plans. Let's just talk philosophically for a second. I mean, what do you think about the current attitude about cannabis in America? Even though we're at the 38, 39 states and the District of Columbia have some form of medical or recreational, lots of these states and some of these conservatives seem to be pushing back now. All of a sudden, they want to, invent the wheel. They want to go back. Remember that "Take America Back." Oh, I don't know what they're talking about, but "Take America Back." So, I mean, are you afraid of what may be coming down the pike because of this administration?
Yeah, I think it's a weird space. I think that we've been able to enjoy it, like you said, 38 states, and now like it's looking like they might want to, like you said, take America back, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's a weird space. I think it can get scary. But I think we just got to take things day by day. I really don't have the answer for what the future of cannabis will be. I just know that what they do know is if federally they do make it legal, they got to free all them prisoners, and that's something that don't seem like they're trying to do.
Especially when we're looking at a administration that seems to be wanting to try to figure out how to re-enslave people. I don't know if you
Right,
heard some of the recent rhetoric out there about how they want to now all of a sudden allow immigrants in to basically be owned by farmers because the farmer has to take
right.
responsibility for them. So when I listen to that, I hear slave. I don't hear.
Sounds like slavery to me, but I won't say much. But that's what it sounds like.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you look at cannabis, I mean, cannabis is, from my perspective, has been used as a re-enslavement tool since 1937. I mean,
Yes,
it's an easier way to find, we know that, brown and black people use cannabis probably at a, I don't know, a less than a 1-to-2 ratio than Caucasian people, yet we got
right.
more of the spaces in the prisons than anybody else. So,
Yeah,
prison became the new slave and now, or the new plantation. And now, it looks like they may turn farms back into plantations.
and that's why I'm down with organizations like Last Prisoner Project to try to show up and speak up and try to you know be the voice for the voiceless in those prison cells.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're a proud father, husband, and father of two, right? How has fatherhood
Yep.
changed your perspective on life and the work that you do?
Oh man, wow! When I became a father, I feel like I finally grew up, and that was 9 years ago. My first child is 9, my second one is 3, turning 4 soon. But I think it just made me focus on what I need to be doing. It made me really say, okay, I got this family now. I not only do I have to provide, but I have to set good examples so that when I do go, inevitably years from now or whatever, that they know that their dad, really made impact and did what he was supposed to do to keep our name right.
Well, I mean, and to that regard, I mean, like, look, I mean, the music industry has evolved so much in the last couple of years, and is going to evolve even more over the next couple of years,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to AI. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stories and a lot of complaints about a lot of work being done where it used to be sampling. Now it's really just straight up bullshitting. I'm sorry, from my perspective,
it's all good.
let a computer, write your next symphony for you. I mean, what's your views on that right now?
My views on what? Sorry, what
Your
was the
view on,
question?
like, this whole AI thing that's going on right now, man. I mean, in about a
Oh
minute.
man, it's a helpful thing and a scary thing in the same sense, right? Like I can't lie, I've been on Chat GPT and it's cool to use, but then I also see like these weird doctored videos and doctored things that's like, wow, this could really like um, ruin some things, So like I really don't know, man. I just know that it's a very interesting tool and it's I don't I don't know what the future of the world is with AI.
I have not. I've heard AI making up songs. I haven't heard AI rapping. I mean, you gotta, you know,
I think I've heard AI
what?
rapping. I heard talking about that they're just gonna sign themselves before somebody tries to take their voice, and that's how scary it is.
That would be scary, man. I mean, because I have to wonder what experience would AI rap about. I mean,
Right, right, right,
you got to feel something, and the
right.
machine doesn't feel anything. So, to young aspiring artists, you said you've been looking for some, and you're recruiting some to bring in. But I mean, what advice would you give them these days to get a break in the industry?
Oh man, I mean, there's really no algorithm but consistency. You got to stay consistent. And the biggest thing I always tell all artists, ones that sign, ones that don't sign, is like make sure that you have the support of where you're from first, because that's your first community, and then that's how it kind of catches on like wildfires. Like when other people, it's always happens. Like when other people see something popping going on one place, they always want to see what's going on, and that's how you build. So I always tell artists. A label can't do anything for you that you can't do for yourself, because all they'll do is, once you're big enough, is just come and give you money to, get you bigger and maybe get you in places you couldn't get yourself in. But right now, when it comes to the music industry, you just got to build yourself up, and don't worry about, tomorrow, but work every day.
Absolutely. Well, if you could look ahead 10 years from now in the future, what do you hope you would have accomplished both personally and professionally by then?
Wow.
It's a big one, right?
Yeah, professionally, definitely want my media company to be one of the biggest media conglomerates in the world. You know what I mean?
And while you're talking
Just
about that,
because
go ahead and give out some stats. Where can people go to reach out to your media company?
3is4.com, or go on Instagram at 3is4. That's the number 3 ISFOR. We do a lot of great storytelling, a lot of great work. We got a lot of unscripted, scripted, documentary stuff. We work with different clients. We do events. We do everything in the media and content space. We also do some experiential work where we could put together a whole event. We do a lot of great stuff. So just that's what I wish, is that 3is4 is one of the is exactly what I envision it to be, which is going to be the biggest media company in the world. Not only because we'll have cool shows, but we'll be cannabis friendly, and we'll be able to be the ones that people can feel safe to come to and learn about the plant and things like that. And personally, I just hope that eventually I play one of the big parts of really getting every cannabis prisoner free.
Sure, I can't tell you, you are doing so many really unbelievably positive things, and moving work forward. I mean, if you had to, what's next? What's coming up before we wrap up? You got something new coming up you want to talk about? Any projects?
Everything. I mean, a bunch of projects on the upcoming for 3is4. Like, we have a lot of internal project that we've been working on, in a lot of talks with different networks. So can't speak much on it, but just be ready to just see me a whole lot. You'll see me on your screens a whole lot, especially with the podcast and all the things I'm doing in the business space. I'm here to be consistent. I'm here to be face forwarding in front of everybody and let everybody know that I'm an advocate for cannabis, and I'm an advocate for good. I'm an advocate for positivity. I'm an advocate for mental health, and I'm that JoJo Simmons is here to make his own mark. And that's really what I want people to know.
Well, you are a true inspiration, my friend. One more time, give out your stats. If people want to get a hold of you, your company, where would they go?
Yeah, man. Anything on social media, but mainly Instagram, at JoJo_Simmons, or at 3is4. That's the number 3 ISFOR. Or go to the podcast Instagram, which is at 4Good Podcast, or subscribe on YouTube at 4Good Podcast, or subscribe anywhere that you listen or watch your podcast.
Well, I'm going to ask all of our viewers to make sure you keep up with JoJo Simmons on social media. Check out all the amazing work that he's doing. JoJo, you stay safe out there. Take care of you and your family, my friend. And anytime you want to come back, you've got a home here, okay?
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir, for sure. And make sure you tune in to the next episode of Let's Be Blunt with Montel.
Peace.
Thanks for joining me on Let's Be Blunt with Montel. Please make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell to be notified when new episodes post each week. We'd love to hear your feedback also, so please send us your comments. Military Makeover is so grateful for the support of Purple Heart Homes, a nonprofit organization that rebuilds and transforms the homes for our veterans.
Our heroes come home with sacrifices most of us can't imagine. As a veteran myself, I've been there and founded Purple Heart Homes to help.
When I tell the story of Purple Heart Homes, it's the freedom to not have to depend on somebody else to do the simple everyday things in life.
Visit phhusa.org/makeover to learn how you can help.